Let's start by going over the odd questions on your Teach Me How to Factor problems. Let's go to work. The first two questions, directions said to factor the common factor out of each expression, which is code for find the GCF, or the greatest common factor. Looking at number one, we only did the odds, so looking at number one, what number can you see that will quickly go into 8, 4, and 12? Well, that's a 4. I can also see that there's a K in all three of those terms, so I can also pull out a K. 4K will go into all three of those terms. So 4K times what gives me a negative 8K to the fourth? Well, that would be a negative 2K to the third. Now, I got to think, I'm dividing there, right? I mean, that's the same thing as taking negative 8K to the fourth divided by 4K. Remember, when we divide like that, negative 8 divided by 4 is a negative 2. And then when we take the variables, we subtract the exponent. So 4 minus 1 becomes K to the third. So just want to remind you that this factoring is essentially division. Okay. Next, I go on to the second term. 4K times K gets me 4K squared. And then my last term, 4K times 3. So I factor that out in that fashion. How many people got that one correct? Okay. Looking at number 3, the same thing. What's the largest number that will go into 24, 42, and 30? 6. There is not an X in all of them, so 6 is all I can pull out. So 6 times 4 is 24, so 4x to the 7th. 6 times 7 is 42, x squared. And then 6 times 5 is 30. How many people got that one right? So on the first one, how many people just forgot to take out the K? Okay, that makes sense to me. All right. So that was just a couple of them just doing the GCF. Number 5, factor each completely. Factor each completely. So now's where I go through my list that we talked about yesterday. First, we asked, is there a GCF? In this case, no. Then we said, is there a leading coefficient? In this case, also, no. So we go to the no side. And if it was no, what was the first thing I do? Split and signs. So let's split the signs. Put 2 sets of parentheses, put an X in each. And then the signs. I start by looking at my last sign. Since it's negative, that tells me my signs are going to be opposite. I can go ahead and put a plus and a minus in there. Does it matter which one goes where? No, it does not. Now, after I split in signs, I'm supposed to get rid of that. After I split in signs, I'm supposed to list factors of the constant. Okay, well, in this case, my constant is 90. So the factors are 1 and 90, 2 and 45. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. I go down in order for a specific reason, because now that I went from 1 and 2, there's no numbers between them. I don't have to check any numbers that are between 45 and 90. Isn't that cool? Does 3 go into 90? Yes, 30 times. Does 4 go into 90? No. Does 5 go into 90? Yes, 18 times. Does 6 go into 90? Yes, 15. Does 7? No. 8? No. 9? Yes, 10. Okay, so now that I have that nice long list, any of those sets come together to get me a 1? Yes, 9 and 10. And now the last part is the larger number gets the sign from the middle. So 10 has to be positive. So the 10 has to go here and the 9 there. Excellent. Now the directions just said factors, so that's all I have to do. If I wanted my solutions, what would my solutions be? They would be negative 10 and a positive 9. Remember, they're the opposite of what we see. Any questions on number 5? How many people got that one right? Oh, that's a good number right there. All right, let's look at number 7. Same thing. Is there a GCF? No. Is there a leading coefficient? No. Split in signs. 2 sets of parentheses. Put an N in each this time. Look at my last sign. It's positive. Tells me they're both going to be the same, and they'll both be positive. Factors of 30. 1 and 30. 2 and 15. 3 and 10. 5 and 6. Which of those come together to get me 11? 5 and 6. How many people got that one right? We're rocking and rolling now.
Question.
Go ahead.
If you put X instead of N, is it considered wrong?
No, the question was if you put X instead of N, is it considered wrong? No, but go ahead and start using the variables that are given. Okay, same thing. Number 9, is there a GCF? No. Hey, back to that question. Why do none of these have a GCF? I mentioned it in passing yesterday a couple times. Well, if there's no leading coefficient, or if the leading coefficient is 1, your GCF is going to be 1. So it's like there's not even one. Do you understand that? So I keep asking, is there a GCF? And then is there a leading coefficient? It's kind of redundant, because if there's no leading coefficient, there's not going to be any GCF. Okay, so basically I'm asking the same question. The only time there's going to be possibly a GCF is if there is a leading coefficient other than 1. Just throwing that out. So back to number 9. Is there a GCF? No. Is there a leading coefficient? No. Okay, so split in signs. Put a variable in each. Look at my sign, my last sign. That tells me they're going to be opposite. So I can go ahead and put a plus and a minus. List the factors of 16. 1 and 16. 2 and 8. 4 and 4. Which of those come together with opposite signs to get me a 6? 2 and 8, the larger number gets the sign from the middle. So the 8 has to go with the negative and the 2 with the positive. Cool. Number 11, is there a GCF? No. Is there a leading coefficient? No. Split in signs. P and P. Signs are going to be the same. They're both going to be negative. List the factors of 20. 1 and 20. 2 and 10. 4 and 5. Which of those come together to get me a 9? 4 and 5. How many people got that one right? A lot of you rocking this, huh? That's good. 13. Is there a GCF? No. Is there a leading coefficient? No. Split in signs. Put an N in each. Signs are going to be the same. Both negative. List of factors of 10. 1 and 10. 2 and 5. Which of those come together to get me a 7? 2 and 5. Cool. Last one, number 15. Is there a GCF? Yes. What? There's a GCF. There's a term. See, this one's missing a term, isn't it? There's no constant at the end, right? Looks a little hinky. Yeah. There's a GCF. There's an N in both of these. So I can just pull out an N. N times what gets me N squared? N. N times what gets me negative 8N? Negative 8. Get it? Get it? That's a little trickery right there on you, okay? There is a GCF. I want you to kind of take note of, too, if we go all the way back up to that first one, there was a K in all of those, and a lot of us forgot that as well. Okay, variables can be common factors as well. Okay? All right, I want to give you... Do you need me to do a couple more examples, or you guys feel pretty good about this? Feel pretty good? Okay, I want to give you then 10 minutes to do the evens. Okay, 10 minutes to do the evens. Go. Good luck.